They inspire me to do better. Holy.
All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Habitual Overcomers Podcast, Episode 6. Today's topic is high finance in an industrial era. I know that's kind of, just a flashy title, really. But basically, what we want to talk about is what we're looking at in the stock world. And really, Keith is the knowledgeable one of us. So I'm just going to let him take over here. My name is Toots McAbernathy. I'm your host. As always, with me is my very dear, close, and personal friend, Keith Creator. And so here we go.
Heyo.
So I guess we need to just go ahead and just get it out there and talk about GameStop.
Yeah, really. It just comes down to this, right? So I've been offered the opportunity to be in the right spot at the right time, and I was part of a giveaway from a person I met on X in the GameStop community, and they were giving away like 250,000 shares, and it kind of clicked in my head. Oh, that's $10 million. So I just was part of that, and I became good friends with them because I started researching the topic, because this was I'd say about 12 months ago, about a year, almost probably coming up on a year.
And that's when you first found out about the giveaway?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And so then I learned
how did you find out about this?
Really, I was just researching stocks, and I don't know why, but maybe GameStop once. I don't know why. I don't know.
So
how
not somebody you knew, but just a right place, right time scenario. You were looking.
Right place, right.
Gotcha.
Well, I'm habitually on X. You know what I mean? So, or on YouTube. From work or just general. So,
always trying to learn.
And yeah, and so it's kind of like once her deal was this, right? So she would give away 50 to 200 shares, DRS, which is direct registered, and so she would give them away through Computer Share, right? And Computer Share is GameStop's direct transfer agent, right? So if you bought Computer Share shares or GameStop shares on Computer Share, then you're buying them from GameStop, and it's directly from them, so the shares are real, and that in itself is another thing. And so that's where you get into the meme stock, and where AMC squeeze, where everybody's heard about that. You know what I mean? Everybody's heard about the AMC squeeze of 2021. So, and what the census is that's about to happen again.
Was that the movie? I know what the movie's based off of. Was that or was the movie? There was a movie about.
What are you talking about? The Big Short?
Yeah.
That was about the 2008 housing market.
Right. Okay. That's
crash.
right. That's right. And that's kind of what opened a lot of people's eyes.
And that's an important point as well, because recently the person who the main character of The Big Short, Michael Burry, he recently came out of nowhere, came out of left field, and is a huge supporter of GameStop, to the point to where this Sunday he's got a Substack to where he earns, I don't remember what it was, but it's in the millions of per month subscriptions from his Substack, because people are just so into the GameStop era now, because they want to be part of that equal squeeze, because the shorts didn't close.
Yeah.
And so they believe that's coming up. And so all of a sudden, Michael Burry hops on the GameStop train out of nowhere. I mean, hasn't, posted on X in a long time. Wasn't really, doing anything.
wasn't
his
active.
name on there is his name is on there. On there is Cassandra Unchained, right? And he's named that after because Warren Buffett named that for some reason. So that's his self-described. But he recently just hopped on the GameStop train because GameStop's like no other company. You know, they've beat earnings by 300% for the last 4 times in a row. They have $9 billion in cash, no debt. Berkshire Hathaway has a stock price of 700,000, and their deal was that they bought Dairy Queens and stuff like that and did investments. So I'm just saying that GameStop has that same potential, given if let's say that they own Bed Bath and Beyond, they own PSA, they own GameStops, all that realty. And so it's just interesting to see how the market hasn't exactly caught up to it because it's been short sold so long.
Mm-hmm.
And this lady put me on to it, really. And I've been kind of day in, every day watching it, interested in it, just paying attention.
So let's
And
go back
things
a little.
have been heating up.
Let's go back a little bit though. You talked about being concerned that you're getting actual shares. What do you mean by that?
Well, okay, so for example, like I got issued warrants recently with the stock that she sent me. So
Let's
for
just do
every 10
let's
shares,
do a quick overview of what is a warrant.
yeah, a warrant is issued directly by the company. I don't know exactly what a warrant is. I'm just an everyday person, but uh, the warrant is basically a call option to exercise at a certain price if you want from the company. So the company issued warrants believing that strike price would be $32, right? I believe, correct. But
Basically, like a little insurance policy for you, letting you know that, hey, we're
yeah,
going to protect your shares. If
but
something
it's
bad were to
also
happen, you have this. You're
they're
not.
taking account for all the shares because if you don't have a warrant and if you're short, if I'm, you know, if I own 100 shares, I'm going to get 10 warrants, right? But if if so many people own hundreds of millions of shares more than that exist, then they don't get the warrants, right? And so that's where the 2021 memes come in, and the AMC squeeze and
And
all
that's
that
directly
come in.
connected to what we're saying with them being
Yeah,
real
because the
shares
same
and being
people.
fake shares, right? That you're saying?
Yes.
Right.
Yeah, because the a company they have a certain amount of shares that they issue, and the banks didn't check for so long, and all these 1990s companies like Radio Shack, Toys R Us, Bed Bath and Beyond, GameStop, just different those companies that you've seen in the mall and everything. Those they shorted those because they figured they were going to go out of business, and the bank didn't check to see how much they were shorting, and they got greedy and they started shorting shares in numbers that don't exist. So, so then now because they thought GameStop was going to go bankrupt, but then they got found out by a certain group of people on Reddit, and that's what happened. And that person, one of the people on Reddit, is one of the people that I met, right? And an amazing person. She's I mean, just changed my life. And so now I have to put myself in a position to just in case, that they're doing it again,
Mm-hmm.
because I think they will.
Yeah.
And none of this is financial advice. None of it. Absolutely none of it. It's just my
It's just
opinion
what he's
on
doing,
me every day
and it's what he tells
because
me.
I'm
And
interested.
yeah.
I'm genuinely interested in it and I watch it every day. And so now it's like I see that they got caught by AMC. They got caught, in all that by shorting these companies like that was shares that don't exist, right? But then GameStop comes through and they issue warrants. And so now these companies that are short shares, they have to come up with warrants that don't exist. right? And I'm holding one of those warrants. I'm holding, a chunk of warrants. Toots may or may not be holding warrants, right? And so they're going to have to buy my warrants.
Yeah.
And so the more time that goes on, more warrants are exercised. And so they get more valuable the less they are, right?
So just to clarify, the only shares that get the warrants are shares that are directly registered with GameStop or with the company that GameStop does their shares with, as opposed to other companies that are selling shares, but they're not directly registered shares, which makes them.
I bring up
and that's what makes them a short sale. Is that the fact there that?
No, well, they short the stock, so they have a current.
Okay.
They have a current, and see that's where the squeeze comes in.
So that's something different, but that's the idea of not getting a guaranteed stock. Is if you're not getting a direct registered stock, you're getting a stock that you don't know for sure that it may be there or it may not be there tomorrow because it was never registered in your name. It's technically never yours.
Entitlement.
So that's the idea of between
and direct registration.
So one is kind of like a guaranteed stock and the other one's like a floating stock or something to that effect. But again, I'm ignorant to it. I'm just trying to kind of get the idea of how someone like me could understand the difference between the two stocks.
I bring up the warrants because it's easy to see how fake it is, right? Because I asked Computer Share directly. I said, "Hey, I want to buy more warrants. How does that happen?" And they said, "No."
Did we say who Computer Share is? Who is Computer Share?
It's just a transfer agent for, every company has a certain transfer agent apparently.
And that's the transfer agent that GameStop uses.
Yes.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So, and I can directly register. So I'm a direct registered share owner of GameStop. I'm a publicly owning shareholder of GameStop. Small, but I'm there. I'm in the game. That's all that matters, right? You just want to be in the game. And so let's say that everybody finds out, and GameStop's also, the reason why GameStop is the one to break the system is because it is retail owned. It's 77% retail owned, and that's what causes the short squeeze because there's so much float left. And if there's so much float, then how do these shares exist? And so you go on Robinhood, right? And you can go and trade on warrants. You can trade warrants for GameStop. But what are you trading? Because I just got told I can't buy warrants, and then I couldn't even sell mine for the first 4 weeks. So what was everybody buying and selling?
Yeah, so that's very interesting. So what you're saying is the warrants are being traded on the market, but you can't buy a warrant through the company, through the company that's issuing the warrants. You can't buy a warrant through them.
No, because they're awarded.
And so they're trading on something that's not even real.
Yes.
In theory.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. In the hopes that they come up and then they'll never have to be held accountable for doing that because they made money and they gave the people back the money because they were able to manipulate the trade without owning the actual warrant.
Yeah, I mean, if the system really broke, then they wouldn't really have to owe you anything.
Right. It's very interesting to me how the whole thing works because.
And that's where you get into where like maybe Fidelity is insolvent. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Who knows? And what are their real numbers? Because they hold a lot of money for a lot of people, and it's been up and down. And I know there's a lot to it. So it's just.
It's very interesting to see warrants being bought and sold and traded when they're not available. That's very interesting.
Yes, because I'm a holder and I know that you can only exercise them or sell them, so you can't buy them. So, and that tells you right there, like, if that's fake, then what else is fake and how am I going to overcome this? Right.
Yeah. Also, too, there was a discrepancy between the value of the warrant and the value that they were selling the warrant for, if I remember.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, how do you know the true value of warrant if you don't know the true value of GameStop, right? So GameStop squeezes, what's my warrant going to?
Right. Yeah. They were maybe selling
So
them off of a projected value, maybe we'll say, as opposed to an actual real-time
yeah,
value.
it's highly shorted, and that's where it comes into where they shorted shares that don't exist, right? Back in 2000s, 2010, 2012, stuff like that. But then they had to keep going in the squeeze of AMC's when they were getting caught. And then they turned off the buy button and, allegedly, I don't know, but
Allegedly.
um yeah, allegedly, I don't know. But I don't know.
None
But
of
I
this
don't
is
know any of this.
confirmed. As far as we're
Yeah.
concerned,
And
this is
so
all a story we're
I'm just
making
letting
up
you
right
know
now.
what I've experienced and what I've seen, So um that's where it goes into like if they turned off the buy button, then they didn't close their positions on GameStop because GameStop it didn't squeeze. It kind of they call it a sneeze, and AMC went from $4 to 400. So if GameStop does that, that'd be equivalent to about 2,500 today. So let's just say hypothetically, if I was to put on. And this is not financial advice at all, right? If I was to go on Robinhood and I was to open options and I was to buy like maybe 6 months, or something like that, 6 to 8 months, and just say it's going to 30, 35, it'd be like $100, but I'd do that because if it's squeezed, then, it could be worth a lot of money. So, and it's just that type of setup is just, if and that's not the way to do it, but the correct way to do it is to DRS. If you want to own something, if you're tired of not owning anything, if you want to have true assets like to your name, uh, this is the only way to do it, and that's through computer share, GameStop, terminate your plan, turn into book shares, and you're a registered owner, and it's that simple. I mean, and the deal is that the more people I get to become an owner, the closer I get to become a millionaire. Because as soon as we own all the shares, then they get caught. So it's they're gonna get caught. So you know what I mean?
Because they're selling
It's inevitable.
shares that they don't have, that aren't available.
Yes,
So
yes.
that's just, that whole world is very interesting on
And then you'll
how
see
they
the
can
true
sell something they
value.
don't have. That's wild.
Then you'll see the true value of a company that has no debt with 9 billion cash and realty out the ass. You know,
Not to mention a big
kind of
chunk
like
of
Berkshire
Bitcoin now.
Hathaway.
I've heard.
Oh yeah, they're the 23rd largest owner. It just got moved down by Donald Trump Jr. But
Mm-hmm.
33rd largest owner of Bitcoin. I mean, but I'm kind of leaning away from Bitcoin now.
Are
I don't
we
know what's
okay?
after Bitcoin, but there's something else away from Bitcoin's a show, you know. John McAfee told us who Bitcoin was. You had to find that on your own. I can't do that.
He's not going to open up on that topic. Okay. All
I
right.
can't
That's
do
all right.
that. John McAfee, I had to deep dive, and we'll do an episode on him alone because that's just, you know.
Yeah. No, I don't, but it sounds very interesting. So basically, what you're saying, though, is that these companies that aren't direct registered, they take a share, they you buy it, or they sell it to you. You never really own the share, and it's just based off an idea because they don't own the share directly either. Where do they get the share from in their mind, do you think? These companies that sell a
Uh,
share that isn't direct registered, where does that
well,
come from?
well, I mean, that's where you get into dark pools, I think, and it's above me.
Right, okay.
If
All
I
right.
make more money, I'll probably dive into
Yeah,
that.
that's
But
fine. No, yeah, no,
right
no, I
now, I'm on the
understand.
working man's
Yeah.
level, and
I'm
I
just
see,
trying to, yeah. I'm just trying to learn, just like, these guys just trying to understand it. And as, of course, as Keith learns more, he'll have more information on all that. But yeah,
yeah,
so then getting back to the warrant side of it then. So having a
okay,
warrant is basically assuring you that your shares are owned shares.
Yeah, when they issued warrants, that's basically telling you that, hey, you have real shares.
You have
Right.
real shares. Gotcha.
Now, let's say
And do you by any
maybe
chance know the number of warrants that were sent out compared to the
559 million.
and how many shares are there in the world?
I don't remember.
A substantial amount,
I guess
more or
that
less.
times 10, right? Or times 100.
Okay, so a lot more. So there's a whole lot of shares out there, but only
for every
that
10,
many.
or for every 10 shares you got a warrant. So if there's 500, so times it by 10.
So does that
right?
mean in GameStop's eyes, then there's only that many shares out there? 5 million?
Yes.
So that's it. So
And then
whatever.
77% of those are owned on computer share by people like me.
Uh-huh.
You see
And
what I'm saying?
yeah, and where's
so
the other
now
30% at?
floating in the atmosphere that they need to account for, and that's the whole deal. Is that
Gotcha.
once this company from the 90s accounts for all these misplaced shares, then they find the true value of a company with $9 billion in cash. And I believe the CEO knows this because the CEO doesn't take a salary, and he just lives off of stock. And it's just that they see it too. That's why they've built that cash pile, and they're waiting for. I believe they're waiting for a crash, and which will happen. And I believe that it won't happen in 2026. So, because I believe 2026 is only up.
Yeah, and Ken asked, great question. He asked, I guess he's asking, does GameStop the only one with warrants? And that he says, and that only comes from GameStop, the warrants, only they can issue them. Only GameStop issued the warrants, or is it ComputerShare that issued the warrants?
Only the company can issue the warrants.
The company that sold the stock is the one who issues the warrants.
Any company can issue themselves a warrant and basically reward the shareholders with an exercise to where, like, basically, I believe the way I'm not exercising my warrants anytime soon, so I haven't even looked at it. But I believe the way it's set up is that they're priced at $32. So anything below or above $32, I would get or pay.
If you were to exercise them.
Yeah, or sell them, yeah.
Gotcha. And so do other companies do this, or is this something
they have to buy it?
Do other companies have warrants? Do most companies do the warrants, or where did that come from?
Most companies, I mean, I don't think they issue warrants like that. Most companies, I think, aren't like focused on the stock side like that as much.
Gotcha. And is it probably because that they're not in this short sale deal like this is going on? Or?
No, I just think it's an uphill battle, and that's where GameStop's different is because it's 70%, 77% owned. There's nobody that has the movement. It's a real financial movement, and it's going to happen again, and then there's going to be laws done about it to fix it, and you're not going to be able to do this again. And it's going to be a one-time deal. They showed you in 2021 they're going to do it again, and then they're going to fix it. And then when they fix it, I believe that if you have DRS shares, then you're going to basically have to not worry about anything.
Well, that's the idea behind it anyway. So that's the idea behind the,
because you will have real shares and everybody else will have fugazi.
Of taking a chance with GameStop.
Like, oh, sorry, we're closing doors.
Yeah, and then you have if you take that chance with them and you have the actual shares, then all of that mystery shares in the world, they'll have to disappear because they're not accountable for. And when that disappears, the value then separates from 20 million shares to 5 million shares, and all that value would just go into the 5 million shares covered by the warrants at some point in time. And this is, you said this is similar what happened to AMC.
Yeah, where AMC had financial movement, and they had a whole bunch of people buying into AMC directly, and they and it got kind of boosted, and they squeezed them,
And AMC is the movie theaters.
Real quick. Yes, and that's how they defeated those hedge funds. They drained their bank account for billions. But this time is supposed to be MOAS. They have a code for it. Mother of all short squeezes. It's supposed to be just, I mean, and I even seen articles about Japan upgrading their financial system to handle large trades. I mean, I don't know what that's about, but it's like if something's coming down the pipe like that, then I guess so be it. They're preparing for it because they might see it. And I don't know, man. It's getting crazy, especially because the guy controlling it, all he has to do is tweet, and Michael Burry is releasing more information that everybody's been waiting on for a month about GameStop this Sunday night. And when he did it last time, the price jumped by $3. And when the price goes down, because I mean everybody's like, "Oh, GameStop's down, GameStop's down." Like the price, you want it to be as down as fucking possible. I want them to fucking push it as far down as much, because the harder they push it down, the more it's gonna pop. Because right now it's at 107 cash value, meaning the $9 billion they have in cash is like a $20 company on the Nasdaq, right? So that's not including PSA. That's not including the realty. That's not including anything on their own line. Nothing. So right now it's like 120. It's like $120 on the ground. That like you just bought $120 for $100. That's what it's like. And you'll see that in. I don't know. It's just weird how that's why it's shorted, and when that relieves its pressure, when these hedges start breaking under that pressure, when it gets a rally and it starts going, and if it short squeezes, it's going to break a lot of them hedge funds and break their shorts to where they can't cover, so, and the last tweet from the guy who basically is the main driver of this financial movement was a Time magazine, and it said, "Time you cover," So, and that was last year. So we're gonna,
because they
we're
want
coming
this
up on it.
exposed. What's going on? And so,
yeah, they want this exposed.
If we can talk about it, I don't know if we can. Is this something that's protected by who's protecting the people that are doing the short selling?
Who's protecting the banks? I mean, the hedges themselves. Allegedly, JP Morgan, Chase.
So banks though, have control of the financial. Okay, so big banks, they control the financial companies that are doing the short selling.
Yes.
Yeah, and I mean that doesn't
like that.
That doesn't seem like too far out of the realm of possibility, because
but
I think that banks
Nunez,
have been doing that for some time, where they get money and then they reinvest that money, and they don't actually have your money anymore because they're making money off of your money.
Yeah,
right?
absolutely,
So,
dude. Absolutely.
That's their idea.
And so you look at a guy like Daniel Nunez, right? And he wants to put a RICO out on these hedge fund banks and shit like that. He wants to RICO them.
Did you say
or he said this on video?
Devin Nunez?
Devin Nunez. Sorry.
Okay, all right. No, you're fine.
Yeah, and where is he today?
I have no idea. I don't watch the news anymore, so I don't get updates like that now.
But let's see where Daniel Nunez is. Devin Nunez.
I think that's his name. It might not even be his name. Maybe we're talking about two different people. I don't know.
Chair of the President's Intelligence Advisory Board.
Oh, well, that's why you're not hearing about him, because he's in protective custody.
Because he wants to RICO those banks. He put that on video. It's coming. All right. I watched it. So I know it's going to happen. It's just they're playing it out too, to where we can squeeze them one more time. That's why dude, White House is releasing gaming memes, gaming, Trump in Halo, Minecraft. McDonald's is tweeting out pictures collabing with Metal Gear Solid, but the receipt is 741. That's GameStop. That's GameStop code. 741 is meme. So
I have no idea.
How many Bitcoins did they get?
What meme is that?
741, dude.
So, is that the thing? Does it mean something? Does the 741 mean something? Does
it have
a meaning?
Means? I don't know what
okay.
it means.
We don't know what it means, but it is a meme from. I gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
The only people that understand are the ones who created it.
Yes, and that's where this is because fifth dimensional warfare is.
Whoa! Did we blow right past fourth dimensional warfare?
Yes.
As far as I knew, we were still living in the third dimension.
No. We're up here now, dude.
We've moved on to the fourth dimension. You guys left me behind. I'm still back here in the third dimension.
You're not on these social medias, dude. You're not fighting. You're not on the front lines, dude.
No, I'm not. Social media, what's that? You won't find me there.
Yeah, so I mean it's just I don't know. It's
No, actually I'm off in the woods. I'm the one that you'll come to when all those do fail, then you'll be calling me like, "Hey, you still got that place in the woods? Yeah, I need to come out there."
Yeah, I do. Yeah. You need that guy.
Yeah.
We need that guy.
I stay out of that world anymore. But I do appreciate that Keith's in it. Keith gives me, advice like this. Not advice, but he tells me what he's doing, and then that gives me the opportunity to do that if I want to. So I don't know what you call that, because apparently there's like a lot of terminology you got to be careful with in this world. But basically, why wouldn't you say, this is what I'm doing? Do it if you want. So of course there's a risk involved. There's going to always be a risk involved in a world of this kind of. That's it. Yeah, because
But I'm just telling you,
it's just that this one has a higher probability to go on a larger scale. I think that's where the big risk comes in with this, is because there's it's kind of like a meme thing, but if it does happen, it's going to be a big change. So there will be a big reward from it if it does. If you can hold out and trust that that it's going to get cleaned up, like with what's going on.
And the main Twitter account to go check out is Roaring Kitty. I mean, it's the financial movement, and you'll see it's nothing but memes. And anytime he deleted part of his bio, and deleted his top 4 tweets because his pinned was live, indicating he would go live soon. And that was a year and a half ago, right? So he could just show up and go live on YouTube, and then boom, it's gonna go. It's just gonna go, and he'll do it when it's squeezed hard, when it's pressed as hard as possible down. So, it's and I don't know what's gonna happen Sunday, whether Michael Burry, because he kind of caught him off guard the other day, when he posted about GME, and it made it go crazy. Yeah. And then now he announced it, right? So he announced it, but I guess it depends on the announcement, or it depends on short sellers, but it could go up or down,
So when you say that this person puts out a tweet or whatever, and then the stock goes crazy, is that through like the people that are following him going and buying it, or how does that? What makes it go crazy? Do you know how that transitions from
the algorithm
tweet to crazy? Okay, but what algorithm? Just because I don't know, I don't understand.
Market algorithm, Wall Street stock market algorithm.
So they're using an algorithm
has figured out, essentially,
and that algorithm is what they base stock prices off of.
This is the way I see it. So, by keeping his digital profile so non-existent, then he's able to have such an influence now, because the stock market wasn't expecting for a character to be like that, and hasn't and is figuring out the valuation of a character like that that led millions to millions, So
are they
even stronger now?
Do they just think that because he tweeted, does the algorithm think that because of the tweet that the stock is going to be hot, so it raises the value of it?
The algorithm is sort of like Roaring Kitty himself, where he noticed the short sellers and them shorting stock, and it's up until he wakes it up to see it. because the algorithm is being hidden it essentially,
Okay, but
and you
then
can feed it memes.
when the algorithm does though pick it up, what what makes the stock go up? Is it the fact that does the algorithm make it go up? Do people buying it and see this
See,
go up? What makes it
that's
go
why
up?
he's
Do
so
we know?
special, you
We don't
know.
know.
So
Okay. That's what
that's
I
why
was getting at.
I'm speculating at that his digital profile is so small that the
Gotcha.
algorithm knows what everyone's thinking. Everyone's going. This is what they say, right? The NSA, the
But
Roger Steele,
basically
whatever.
the end of what we're saying is though the algorithm decides the value based on that
Yes,
somehow. We don't
yes,
know exactly
and
how, but
whenever it's
somehow.
fed bad information by millions and millions of dollars by 1,000 different hedge funds,
Yeah.
then it values it differently. And when a guy
Okay,
comes in,
I see. It's
kind
the
of like
comparison of the
Batman,
two. Now I understand what you're saying. So,
yes,
when it's overvalued because of all of this fakeness going on, so the algorithm thinks, "Oh,
yes,
look, there's so much of this stock going around and it's only
yes,
this." Then when it sees something like that, it freaks out and it can't adjust or evaluate properly at that point.
yeah,
I see. I see now. And it's because of the floating stocks that are out there that it wasn't aware that was going to come down to the short sale or whatever. So it doesn't, I
yeah.
guess, differentiate. The algorithm doesn't differentiate between stocks that are owned or
And
stocks that
right
are
now, it
short
feels
sold or
like they
whatever.
have it pretty controlled because even at every earnings, it just drops. It's pretty predictable. And they've beaten every earnings by 300%, and no company, period, has done that by 300%, 3 times in a row.
Hmm.
And no company current day has $9 billion in cash, aside from, actually, no, I don't think, I think that's it.
Interesting. Very interesting. A very interesting thing from such a weird company to be in this day and age, right? Thinking that GameStop kind of, I mean, I think that most people would agree that this is probably an industry that we thought was kind of going out like, what were those CD stores called back in the mid 90s where you used to go? What were those CD stores called back then? Oh man, anyway, used to go and buy like tapes and CDs at a store. That's all it was. They don't have those stores anymore.
Yeah.
Was
Yeah, I
it
remember going into
Music
those.
Biz? Was it Music Biz or something like that? It was some kind of a name like that. I can't say for sure, but
I can't remember it, dude.
yeah, but these used to be stores where, and you think about it as we're moving towards the digital era, we won't be seeing GameStop stores. Well, I actually thought they'd be, few and far between more than they are now. But I mean, there is a big industry for
But
those
think about
hard
how
copy
valuable
games
that
from the
realty
past.
is compared.
Well,
Think about how valuable all that realty is.
I don't know
As
because CDs and tapes, I don't think they're worth anything anymore.
oh, what? CDs
Like,
and I'm talking about the realty, the land.
oh, that what's on whose land? I'm sorry. I guess
GameStop.
the land that their stores are on.
Yeah,
Oh,
they own the stores.
I see. Most people don't own the stores.
Yeah, see, that's where Berkshire Hathaway comes in. They owned Dairy Queens.
I see. So when GameStop is in a mall, do they buy that out, or is that a different scenario where they're just renting and it's just they've converted?
I'll look at the mall specifically, but a lot of them, like you'd be surprised, are not in malls.
Right,
So
they've converted out of malls. I think that's what I was just going to say too.
yeah,
Is I think they've moved away from malls, and I have noticed that.
But I
That
noticed the ones in the
they're like,
malls haven't gone away.
well, yeah, but they're like next to the mall in a building, right? Almost always now you see them in a little shopping center, but not
as in like
in the
they
mall
own a
as
spot
much.
and they negotiate like, hey, we'll take this spot,
Yeah.
So that's why I think that they're like, I know that they're they're profitable. They've been profitable for a while, and them being profitable is a problem because the shorts expected them to go out of business 10 years ago, and they have to keep covering a bill that gets higher and higher. And now the Japan is raising some sort of hiking something that's going to cost them more to borrow, and apparently they run it through their yen everything. So it should get interesting because also the warrants that I have, they have to cover that too, and it gets more expensive the longer they wait to get a warrant, from people like me. So, um, it's just it's all coming to a fold. It feels like here at the end, and I just wanted to make sure that we had something put out there, and I could say like, oh, this is value, and because this is something that I'm doing that I'm passionate about that I don't stop at nothing not to do, right? Because I see it as an end game.
Yeah, and that's why he wanted, and we wanted to bring it to the podcast here, was just so you guys can see what he's thinking, and then you guys can have an opportunity to take that into consideration however you feel. If you want to, get into something like that, but because at any point in
The best thing
time,
you
the
could
moment
do
could
at
pass
this moment,
is really what
the
the
best
main
thing you
thing
could
is.
do.
We're on the precipice. We're right on that peak of it could shift at any point in time. So the longer we wait, the less chance that anybody would have to have the knowledge. Sorry,
Is
go ahead.
take 2 shares and buy 2 shares of GameStop on Computer Share. Open one for you, one for your kids, and buy 2 shares, to 10 shares, whatever you want of GameStop, and then DRS them, turn them into book shares. And Computer Share is perfect. They'll walk you through it. There's a chat, everything, and just leave them and forget about them, and you'll see, because a company that is turning into an asset value company instead of like a gaming digital. Because also they've got a game trading online now. So you take the chance and open a pack, and you get a card that they have in inventory, and you can order it from their inventory, right? And so,
And there'll always be that
um,
genre of hard copy on old platforms.
yeah,
Basically everything
yeah,
before, well, basically everything before PlayStation 6. We'll see the next generation, whatever PlayStation 6 and whatever Xbox is making. I don't know because I don't play it, but whatever these new
but
generations, are they going to have any hard copy games or not? Until then, obviously, there'll always be some of a market for that. But I think that GameStop was probably, I mean, if you think about GameStop was one of the biggest businesses in the
yeah,
late 90s to mid
yep,
2000s to 2000
and
teens in the world.
and they're adapting, right? And see, that's why this financial episode is mainly about GameStop, because GameStop is not GameStop. GameStop is a financial movement, and
And
it's
I've always been pro
and
hard copy, by the way. I've never been a fan of digital
yes,
copies. I feel like digital
everybody
can
is.
be manipulated. You could have it taken from you. They could shut your online off and all of a sudden your digital copy. There's so many things that I don't like about digital copies that I've always been, anytime I had the opportunity to buy one or the other, I was always for hard copies. But they've basically eliminated that now. Now you don't even get the games that I'm wanting. There's
No,
no there's no disc out there to buy these games. So
but the bar's been set so long that maybe it'll get better,
it could. I'm still pro hard copy though. I think that if you were to buy a system and then you were to move out into the woods and not have internet, I think that you would still want to be able to play your games. You still want to be able to put your disc in and have it play without, because let's just and obviously we're talking about bad times, but let's just think if we had a huge internet outage for a long period of time, what are you guys going to do? What are people going to do, especially gamers, streamers? This is a big question. I mean, I think we all should take a big look at ourselves and think about the position we're putting ourselves in and the control that we're giving somebody to say, if I lost internet, what would I have? What have I invested into here? And if internet wasn't available for a long period of time, what would I have at the end of the day? And I mean, for me right now, I would have older systems, older games that I could still use, but basically my PS5 would be completely useless. I could take it and toss it
yeah.
in the trash. I don't even have a disk drive on it because I could do nothing with it without internet. So that's very interesting. That's a very interesting world we're shifting into.
Yeah, I learned a long time ago when I didn't have internet at where I lived that the PlayStation platform, the Blu-ray, didn't operate without internet.
Wow. The Blu-ray didn't work. The
So
Blu-ray player didn't work without internet.
without internet, does not operate.
That is insane. On what system was that?
That was like Division 1.
Like on PS4?
Yeah.
Interesting. Very interesting. Yeah. Wild. So, as we shift more towards that, everybody should just, really think and assess where we're driving the market to, because we're saying, okay, we're going to be okay with this. We're going to still buy the games. We're still going to invest in all this.
But if you're going to participate in the market, cover your 401k, but also have something that you know is real. Direct register. If you want to invest in a company, figure out who their transfer agent, because I'll tell you this right now, if you just Google stock entitlements, fidelity entitlements, whatever you want, and you'll see it right there that they don't sell usually the stock, they sell you entitlements, and they buy the stock and you buy the entitlement from them. And the entitlement is okay, but it's made by Fidelity, and if there's no Fidelity, then really who's you can't get wine from raisins. So it's just own something real, own something in your name, become an owner of whatever company that you want to buy. I'm just saying GameStop is here, and it's going to teach people around the world that eventually. And when that happens, GameStop, they'll be, BKAs.
Yeah, now I do have a cousin that has, I'm pretty sure, probably put raisins in one of these wines that he's made. So you got to be careful with those. Fair. Yeah, you never know. I think some people might have heard that and been like, whoa. You can't? Are you sure? Because now tomorrow I'm making wine out of raisins, and then I'm coming right back at you with my raisin wine. My cousin used to make wine, and he would make it out of everything. Wine, so dude. He put all kinds of fruits in it. He would just make it, because basically it's just whatever fruit you want, a bunch of sugar and yeast, and let it ferment or whatever. And bada boom, bada bing, he's got wine. I mean, it's nothing that I enjoyed. But every time I would go over to his house, he'd have a big old jug of some homemade wine that he made. And he'd pour us a glass. I never was a big fan of it. But anyways, so raisin wine, y'all. Let's let Keith, everybody, we need to find raisin wine. And we'll show Keith that it is out there. Yeah, no, but I think we all got what you were saying, though. I just found it humorous. So, man, that's really great stuff. Great information. Just somebody that kind of, from a normal person's perspective, a working man's perspective.
I did do 3 years in college for financial economics and resort management. I mean, so it's there. I have a passion for it.
So he is a genius.
That's why it interests me, and that's why I ended up. No, that's why I ended up, not, I ended up being in the right place at the right time with GameStop, where it was like 2, 3 a.m. and this screenshot was posted for like $33 million of GameStop on ComputerShare. I didn't even know what any of that was, but I was like, damn, changed my life. And they did. They absolutely did. So you never know. And it's just one of them things, so.
Yeah, very fortunate. Sounds like you were very fortunate. Yeah. Exactly. The one time that social media, that social media actually gave you something good out of life instead of just,
Only X. I was telling that somebody Friday that they said, man, X is not. And I was like, so what do you go on, Instagram, Facebook? He's like, not Facebook. I go on Instagram. I was like, Facebook owns Instagram. I said, I haven't gotten anything good from any platform except X. X is the only one that develops what I want to see. He's like, well, X is only, PORN, right? And I was like, well, then it's showing you what you wanted to see. Whatever you fucking clicked and liked is whatever you fucking watched, dude. And see, now I'm in some deep algorithms. I'm walking around shoulder to shoulder with fucking all these big time GameStop investors, seeing what they're posting now.
And not that there's anything wrong with that. If that's what you use it for, go ahead. I mean, if that's what you guys,
but don't complain about it when that's what it just shows you what you wanted to do. And that's what I want to do is I want to learn and watch GameStop every day and watch the market. And there's a community of people that are doing the same thing.
And I think there's this thing going on, because I have noticed what that person's talking about with some, even like YouTube. I'm just, okay. The kind of videos I'm watching on YouTube is like gaming, mechanic work, informational. I learn stuff. If anything comes up that's like, and I mean, like, not even inappropriate, but just like, I don't know, out of those worlds, I just instantly say not interested, right? It's an instant not interested. But yet every commercial is like, buy your wife from Ukraine, buy your wife from China. It's like, it is so weird, the advertising that's going on. And this is on YouTube, right? I mean, I don't understand it, but it's very weird. There's a weird, crazy sexualized advertising thing going on hidden behind some of these platforms that goes beyond just clicking whether you like it or not. So, because I certainly don't, and I'm not saying that, you see a good looking woman come on
into that,
come on your page,
whatever you do,
your eyes are gonna
just look up it online. Don't look it up online.
Look at it, right? But it's not like I go out searching for those things. So it's one of those things that it's a manipulative tactic, I think, a lot of times. But guys are dumb. Guys are dumb. They like looking at girls and whatever, so they fall into that trap. But it doesn't make sense why it's so hypersexualized. And then imagine, how many kids out there are using these apps and lying like they're adults, and then they're seeing this, and then it's normalizing that for a generation to come. They're going to think they all can just buy their wives from Ukraine. And it literally says, buy your wife from Ukraine. I don't know what, like, I mean, seriously, is this a thing?
It's implication, dude.
Yeah, there's a deep implication there. Do they just steal your credit card information? Is it a scam? Is YouTube involved in it? Do they have a play? And if that's the case, is it
my
Google?
Credit card information at the gas station, they're definitely stealing it.
It goes so deep. It goes so deep, and I don't understand it, and I don't really like it. But it is part of the culture that's going on with this now, because those advertisements and those links.
Unless it's the TLC channel, then I don't trust them.
Oh, really? Do you trust the TLC channel? I don't trust anything.
90 Day Fiance, dude.
Well, that's, that show's real. If there's one thing I can say about Hollywood, I've been around Hollywood quite a bit in my lifetime.
Dude,
definitely 90 Day Fiance is 100% real, you guys.
I don't know what's your problem.
Never doubted it for a second.
Why don't you love, dude?
I don't know. What's that little thick neck guy's name? He's adorable. I really like that guy.
I don't know.
He's just cute as a button. He is cute as a button.
Yeah, he's got merch.
Yeah, I just want to poke him in the belly.
Oh, by the way, we've got merch.
Hey-o.
Hey-o. Habitual overcomers.com/Shopify. Just Google it.
Just Google it. I'm gonna try and get him to post it in the chat here. We'll see if he does.
I worked hard on it.
He's kind of busy, so I don't know if I can get him to do that for us, but he does have those capabilities. We'll see. We'll see how it turns out.
It's fine, buddy.
Yeah. So no, that's great. That's amazing, you guys. Do what you want, but go out. If you are going to invest in something real. I think that's the big side of it. If you're going to invest, if you're going to spend your money out there.
You want to own a home? It's just like owning land, right? You want to own something real? That's something real that you can buy from each company. Just go to them directly, find out their transfer agent, look it up online, and buy from them directly. Yeah. And then you can be an owner of that company on paper. And that goes just like you're already a step ahead of everyone else because there's only so many stock available. You're
gonna be ahead no matter what. In the long run, you'll be ahead. So especially if everything goes like with what Keith has been saying here, which I think that it's the indicators are showing that there's a very real possibility. But there's a lot of people who don't want that to happen. So don't get a for sure expectation of how things are going to go, because there's a little internal war going on in that world between that situation. So a lot of people will lose a lot of money.
Exactly.
And you know how
it's a financial movement.
Yeah, it's a financial movement, and it could change the finance. And in fact, I think if anything's going to change the stock market and the financial world, it will be this. Right? This will be the change if it happens. that
Yes.
the world has needed to kind of correct itself
Yes.
in this way.
Because if they turn it off again, then I don't think they'll get away with it. Not with now that Americans, I feel, are in charge of their system again.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like we
and who is in
won't
control of
allow
that
it.
switch? Did you say, or do we know?
I don't want to say. I mean, I don't want to say
look
because
it
I'm
up.
not
Find
sure.
out for yourself,
I
you
don't know.
guys. Who's in control of that switch? Just in case it happens, that way you know who did it to you.
I would argue that it's either the SEC chairman or some type of chairman.
Right.
Something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But now that
Someone that shouldn't have
all those
control
people have been swapped out, you
of
know what I
something
mean?
like
So
that. Yeah.
it's a difference 5 years later.
Yeah.
We had to wait.
Because
And
it's another one of those too big to fail scenarios where they're protected because they don't want them to fail because too many people that they're entrusted in will lose money, whatever. It's a bunch of BS. It's a bunch of rich people protecting rich people
Yeah.
scenarios. So we don't want to get involved
they
in that.
can't do that.
And that's not our world. But yeah, that is not fair. It's not fair to the common man. It's not fair to the working class because the bottom line is the working class suffers.
Not when I see
the
it,
rich and the
then on
elites will
Robinhood,
never
they're
suffer.
parading it in front of me. And I'm
Yeah.
like, what am I supposed to do about that? You know what I mean? They're selling and buying in warrants. I mean, where do they disclose that's not the actual warrant? Where on that do they disclose that?
Mm-hmm.
That's what I would like to know.
Yeah.
Because I have an issue with that.
Well,
Because imagine
maybe
those
others will
warrants
be
go to
wanting to know
millions
that.
of dollars and they can't actually pay that out.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, that's gonna be a real problem, isn't it, for a lot of people?
That'd be a real problem.
Yeah, and then
So
and basically they'll just say, whoops, our bad, and there's nothing you can do about it, as far as we can tell. Anyway, I mean that's the way it looks.
You bought an entitlement, not the actual.
You weren't
warrant.
the owner. You never actually owned it. You only
we're
owned
the
it if
actual
they
owners.
owned it. That's kind of how they play it. You only own it if they own it, and if they don't own it, then technically you don't own it. How can they sell something they don't even have, though? Right? It goes so much
maybe
deeper
they buy
than
it
that.
and they hold it for themselves. I don't know, but I don't believe that either. Because
if they did, they would have warrants for it.
Other,
wouldn't that be the case if they bought it legitimately and whatever company, fill in the blank, bought shares and they own those shares? Wouldn't they have gotten warrants for them?
Yes.
Right. So we know that there's no way that if they only issued 5 million warrants, but there's 20 million shares out there, something's amiss.
Yes.
So that company, there's no way that company is buying those shares to sell those shares. That company is selling shares based off an idea that the share will be worth something else and they'll make money off of it, but never actually owning the share.
Or just making money from the consumer at all. Because like you said, where does your money go?
Right. And again, you guys do your own research because a lot of this goes above our heads too.
We just, hey, this is just two working men figuring out the economy.
Just trying to get in on something that might be real and it might be big. Who knows? But that's all it is.
Yeah. And if so, it's a $100 risk, covers you half a year. Not financial advice at all. It's just what I am going to do.
Yeah. Or if you just buy shares, you'll always have those shares no matter what. I mean, at worst case scenario,
I would suggest buying shares first.
Yeah. At worst case scenario, you'll have the shares for whatever they're at. Who knows what could happen? It may be, and that's the other thing too, is you just don't have an expectation it's going to happen tomorrow. If you do something, just sit back and let it go. Don't put yourself out for it. Only do it if you have, the money to do it and you have extra money and you're thinking, man, I want to take a chance on something big, then who knows what can happen. So that's amazing. Yeah, Ken. I mean, you know why they're I mean, that show these people aren't even real people, I mean, they were just wanting to be famous, so that's what you get with people with that mindset, which I'm sure we're going to do a podcast and we will talk about.
All those people are happily married.
They're so happy. Look at how happy they are.
Dude.
Look at how happy they are. I can't wait to actually bring that topic up in a podcast. I'm super excited about it, but I don't want to rush it out there. I want to let it sit and marinate and, really get juicy before
Am I
we
still in the hot
before
tub?
we drop it. No, you've disappeared. You were out a long time ago. You haven't been in
Nice.
a hot tub in a
I
long
told
time.
you, dude. Now, see, this is how you cheated me out of money. You owe me money now.
I owe you money. You didn't
You owe
put
me
your
GTA
controller.
money.
I clearly said, you guys, I'm leaning my controller over on the stick so it always stays on when I'm doing this. And he didn't lean his controller over.
and
He took his controller and just threw it down.
I'm 50
Buttons
yards
up.
from my controller. Okay.
And somehow it's my fault, you guys. Even though I told him exactly what to do, exactly how to do it. But since he didn't do it, it's my fault. Oh.
Yep, somehow, no matter what it is.
You hear that buzzer? You know what time that is. Unfortunately, ladies and gentlemen, we have run right out of time today. But great time. I've had a great time. That was a great topic, and we've been wanting to talk about that for a while now and kind of get that out there with you guys. So that way, you of us that are members, you guys that are members, I think though, you deserve to have a little truth thrown at you behind the scenes. So there you go. A little something extra that maybe some people won't know about unless they were here for the airing of it, in which case they got in on it. And lucky you.
Point.
So otherwise, that's it, ladies and gentlemen. So thanks for hanging out with us. Been a great time. We'll be back on streaming here in just a little bit. So we get going again. Until then, thanks guys for hanging out. We'll see you next time.